Hi guys, this is a video all about employment, having a job and being fired or leaving that job. There's a difference between British English and American English in this regard, so if you're studying American English, these are the phrases you want to use. In England, in British English, they say someone got sacked, or he was given the sack. That means that they were fired. It's a very old phrase, but Americans don't use that phrase. So when I heard it, I had to ask it to be translated into American English from British English. But these are the words that are associated in American English for quitting a job or being fired. If you're let go from a job, he was let go from his job, like letting go something and it falling, that's a word for being fired. Being fired is the traditional phrase where you're no longer employed, your company has asked you to stop your service or your job for some reason. You can also hear the word terminated. I was terminated at work. It sounds like you got killed or something. Or Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Terminator in the movie. But to terminate means to end something permanently. So if you're terminated, that means you've lost your job, you've been laid off, or you've been fired. Another way to say is, I got dismissed at work. Dismissed means you were asked to leave. If you're a student and you're asked your teacher if you can leave the classroom, they say, yes, you're dismissed. Or in the military services, after an officer is done speaking, they'll say dismissed. That means everyone who's paying attention can go back to what they were doing before. But dismissed can be another term that's used for being fired. Or a more slang term is, I got canned. I got canned at work. It's like you got thrown into a trash can. That's where that comes from. So that's kind of a slang phrase. I got let go. But what if you quit? If you quit work, that means you stop based on your own opinion or your own plans. I quit this job. Or another slang way to say that, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I quit. You'll hear that one, especially in movies, where someone's in an office and they get upset or they can't take it any longer at that particular work, and they say, I'm out of here. So that's a useful one. Or more formally, if you leave a company, you can say you've resigned. It does not mean re-signed, it means resigned, meaning you had a position and you're informing the company you no longer wish to have the position. So if you resign, that means you usually submit a letter to the company or an email these days that indicates that you're stopping your employment. So these are contemporary American words about quitting or being fired, and they're well worth knowing because you'll hear them or see them. I've done this whole series about American English as it's spoken these days. The slang from my parents' time is different, and a lot of the phrases that they used when my parents were growing up in the 20s and 30s and 1940s are just not used anymore, and they sound very funny. If you hear them, you only hear them in a movie from that time, but language changes over time, so these are all some phrases that you can use or hear. I hope you don't get fired and that your job goes well. And I thought today, I've never been fired from a job, but I have resigned from some jobs to go to another job or to go to graduate school. So I guess I must be a pretty good worker. And I'm working hard for you. So please subscribe to these videos. I hope you enjoy them, and as always, it's my pleasure to teach you. Thanks, guys.